equator.
Portions of the southeast have been through a very stormy Friday. Severe weather struck the area and in some cases still going on. Good evening, everyone. I'm Warren Madden.
That's right. I'm Paul Emick. We'll have our nightly feature El Nino Focus mere moments away, a bit later on, but we'll have to start off with a look at the storms to the southeast. This is amazing aftermath from a tornado that touched down in Covington, Louisiana. Just before 2 o'clock today, 25 people injured and 80% of the downtown buildings damaged. The tornado has been given a preliminary Fujita classification of an F2, but a formal survey held on Saturday morning. The tornadoes are classified on the Fujita scale, runs from F0 to F5. So we're dealing with kind of on the lower end of that, but still devastating nonetheless. Here's the result of an F1 tornado touched down early this morning in Lafayette, Louisiana. Lafayette, I'm trying to say. At least 20 homes and businesses damaged, 1 injury reported. Twister, which was packing winds between 80 and 100 miles per hour, took down trees, tore up rooftops, and officials estimate the tornado path, again, just of an F1, which is still moderate, but about 3 miles long and 200 yards wide. I would say that counts as a lot of interesting damage. Still quite stormy tonight, with a tornado warning in effect in Covington County into South Alabama. It's been quite stormy. What's the deal with all this? Well, we're dealing with what's called the warm sector. Here's a cold front. That's the front edge of the leading edge of some colder air mass. It makes sense if this is cooler, this ahead is warmer. And that's the case. That's why it's called the warm sector. You can even see a telltale sign of the warm front, meaning some sticky air in place. You have to have the moisture, the lift, we've got that, the instability that's present, and favorable upper levels have made for a volatile situation at time across the southeast throughout the evening. Still a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, including portions of Mississippi, a bit of South Alabama, and onward throughout Georgia and into the Carolinas now. Let's follow that line of storms around New Orleans, a bit stormy at times, and into Covington County, and that cell right through this region there around Andalusia. That's one of the more risky spots around that present time. On toward Montgomery, still quite stormy. Across Georgia, still some rain to speak of. Most of it south of Atlanta Metro, could eventually move on to affect Savannah. And a lot of the storms tonight still stretching onward into the Carolinas. Temps not bad. 66 to Charleston, 66 for Jacksonville, 70 New Orleans, Atlanta, Georgia. Relatively cool, 55 degrees and warm, sticky nights, 76 around Miami and Homestead. Northeast could see some snow in the highest of elevations. A lot of rain on the way and a lot of it coming down now. Maybe some 5 to 10 inch amounts not out of the question where you see the gray shading. Could be dealing with a lot of snowfall. Not much in the way of snow at the present time. Maybe a flake or two flying, but rain on the way. Some of this could be becoming a bit of rain, a bit of snow. We'll talk about that momentarily, but tonight plenty of rain around Philadelphia. Also at times around New York City. Kind of a sloppy night if you're headed out do a little partying outside. Looks like a little bit of rain at the present time. Also rain at times around Indianapolis, but it's moving on. We'll have a look at some of the other action and the forecast coming up and how this all relates to what comes next. With the tales of the West, here's Warren.
Thanks, Paul. It's been pretty quiet for much of the West today, but those of you in the Pacific Northwest should be ready. Another bout of rain heading your way over the weekend. Before we get to the current conditions, let's check out some snowy scenes from North Dakota. Those of you in Fargo know how to drive in the snow. You know how to shovel it as well. You had a chance to do both today. Wasn't a big event, but you'll see snow showers continuing on Saturday. Sunday, though, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs in the low 20s. Reason why you're seeing the snow, a slow-moving low-pressure system now centered over eastern South Dakota. It'll be tracking itself eastward over the next couple of days, in effect eventually into the Great Lakes and then into the Northeast as we work through the weekend. And then we also have a new system coming on shore, as I mentioned, into the Pacific coast. Right now, as we look at what's happening here in the land of 10,000 lakes, looks like the snow showers coming to an end, at least temporarily, across the Red River Valley, but heavier amounts of snow, wider coverage here, ranging from the Arrowhead of Minnesota down through the upper Mississippi River Valley down toward Minneapolis. Our jet stream coming in, going up, and then going down again. And as it goes down, we've got a disturbance riding down the slope. And as it does, it's bringing some snow into the Colorado Rockies, and even reaching down in toward eastern New Mexico, seeing some rain and snow depending upon your elevation. And that, of course, the snow, great news if you are a skier. Here in northern and central California, some showers around, although a lot of this not reaching the ground at the present time. Farther to the south, with offshore winds, it was a beautiful day temperature-wise in Los Angeles, making it up to 77 degrees in the City of Angels today here on Friday. But farther out, you can see what's coming. More moisture, more storminess. It's heading on shore and heading in the direction of the west coast. Speaking of the Pacific Ocean, that's where El Nino lurks. And let's find out more about this phenomenon from Paul.
Some experts say this year's El Nino is responsible for stronger eastern Pacific hurricane activity. Others have a different view. Janetta Jones takes a look at both sides of the coin in tonight's El Nino Focus.
Hurricane Pauline hit the Mexican coastline near Acapulco on October 8th. Did this year's strong El Nino contribute to the hurricane's strength? There are opposing views.
With the unusually warm waters off the coast of Mexico this season, kind of an offshoot of El Nino, we believe that this probably intensified Pauline.
But the question has to do is, did the El Nino cause these water temperatures to be higher than they ordinarily would be at the latitude where Pauline formed? We know the El Nino causes above normal water temperatures at the equator and maybe 5 to 10 degrees above the equator.
Another mark of a very intense storm would be the increased precipitation or rainfall around the storm itself.
Anytime you get a lifting mechanism from the mountains, you'll get more rainfall. So again, that's not caused by water temperatures. It's caused by the lifting of the air by the higher elevation, the mountains in this case.
Scientists will study this year's El Nino to see what part, if any, it played in the 1997 hurricane season. The bottom line, any hurricane is dangerous, and safety precautions should be followed if one affects your region. I'm Janetta Jones, the Weather Channel.
Be sure to watch again tomorrow night. We'll look at how El Nino may affect weather in other countries. That's tomorrow on El Nino Focus. Right now, we'll kind of focus toward the weekend forecast. With that, here's Warren Madden.
Thanks, Paul. As we look to tomorrow, we will be seeing the storm track its way up the east coast. A very quick-moving storm. By the midday period, it's already off the coast of Maine, and by the afternoon, it's out over the Canadian Maritimes. So we'll see most of the snow falling during the first part of the day, but some snow showers left over here into New England around Boston and Worcester, heading up toward Concord and Manchester, New Hampshire through the afternoon. More storminess here into the southeast as a new low-pressure system gets organized, and also this low coming across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes, bringing snow to northern Wisconsin and into the UP of Michigan, while a new storm system comes on shore in the western coast of the U.S. Heaviest amounts of rain will be in the eastern coast as that storm works its way northward. Heaviest amounts of snow here in northern New England, which is great news if you plan to go skiing anytime over the next month. Low temperatures on the chilly side in the northern plains, but quite mild in the southeast, and warming up nicely along the Carolina shores, getting into the 70s, but we'll be seeing 20s for the highs in Minnesota and the Red River Valley.
Big difference. Now, tomorrow morning's rain showers